How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a tutorial video or parts install on how to put valves or how to reinstall valves into your head on a Suzuki LTR450. So to start off with a little bit of background, this is the same white and red Suzuki that you saw on the channel already that we did a walk around of. So this thing actually lost compression on the last ride and it went down to 30 psi. So lasted a long time. Completely stock motor, never been tore into before. And if you know anything about Suzuki's, then you would actually have to bore the cylinder first and then pay to get it re-Nicocil lined. So at that point, you might as well pick a brand that you trust and order an aftermarket cylinder kit. So we went with the Cylinder Works cylinder. It's supposed to be high quality. They're made in the USA. They're pretty good cylinders from what I've heard. We've never personally used them, but we have heard good things about them. For the piston with the build, we went with a JE12 8-to-1 piston, and both of these are stock bore, but that bumps up the compression a little bit. I can't remember the stock compression completely, but I'm pretty sure it was either low 12s or in the 11s. But that should make it to where it can still run on pump gas, but also has a little bit of a power increase. So before we get started, I'm going to go over the tools that you're going to need whenever you put this head together. You're going to want a valve compression tool or a valve spring compressor off of eBay or Amazon. I'll link one down below. I'll link this one down below. This one's been good. I've done about 2 heads with it. Never gave a problem. You can order the Tusk or the Pro Design, but they're pretty pricey, I know, but this is literally close to the same thing. Either way, I'll link one down below. You're going to get some assembly lube of your choice. That's from O'Reilly's. I can't really recommend this, but I don't know that it'd give a problem. I prefer the liquid kind. Maxima, the red gel, red oil, works pretty good. You're going to want valve grinding compound as well as valve lapping tools. I got both of those at O'Reilly's and they worked great last time. So before we get started, you're going to want to inspect your head and really make sure that everything checks out. First, check the valve seats. If these are really ground out, have any rough spots, you're going to want to tend to all that. These seem like they're in decent shape as well as our stock valves, so we're just going to reinstall that. First, you're going to clean your valves really well. Make sure all that's clean before you start this process. But I'm going to actually show you guys how I clean all this carbon off the head, and we're going to get all that sorted out. You're going to use a rotary tool. We got this at Lowe's. It's a wireless, works pretty well. And you're going to want a little wire disc, and that has done the trick for us. Also, use a little bit of contact cleaner, some carb clean. That'll work great. And I'll go over it in the video and really show you guys how to get it cleaned up. So I've got a little work platform laid out just so I don't scratch the cylinder and drag it across this table. So you're going to get your rotary tool with your wire wheel on it, and I'm just going to start at the face, clean all this carbon off, and I'm going to go to the inside. I'm going to be using a little bit of carb clean in and out just to get all the carbon off that I remove. And I guess I'll just get started with it. I probably should recommend you wear safety glasses, but I'm definitely not going to do that. These can actually turn into little ninja stars and fly at your face and stab you in the eye, but let's just hope that doesn't happen because I don't feel like wearing glasses. So now that I just endured the pain of cleaning carbon off of that, you can really get that as good as you want to. I actually heavily recommend putting glasses on at that point. I backed out pretty quick, pushed out. The wire wheel, I had one explode and take me out. But anyways, the next step would be to lap your valves, get them seated. You're not going to want to go crazy with this. Do not start grinding down your valve seats. It's not worth all that. This stuff from O'Reilly's, Permatex makes it. There's like 4 different grit sizes, I believe. Yeah, you just mix it with drops of water, and it's going to actually thin out the compound and make it a little bit lighter. I do not even start with the thickest one. I normally do 2 small passes, and I'm going to do one with 2 drops of water, and then one with 1 drop of water and one with 2 drops of water to thin it out even more. And you're just going to do it until it sounds and feels smooth. You'll feel the grit at first, and then you'll feel it smooth out. And that's how you're going to know whenever it's done lapping. You don't want to really sit there and grind at it. Just put a little bit of your paste out, and then you're going to add just a little bit of water to the paste, or a shitload. Here, we'll thin that out some. Mix it up a little bit. You see it thinning it out. And then you're going to apply this to the back side of your valve. And after you do that, you're going to find the lapper that fits. I normally go with the biggest size that doesn't cover the whole valve, so it gets a good grip on it. Know which valve came out if you're reusing your valves. If you're not, it doesn't necessarily matter. And you're going to start, and you're going to hear it. It's going to be rough, and you're just going to go back and forth until you hear it smooth out like so. Go a little bit further past that, and I'm going to call it good on that pass. So at that point, I get a rag, clean off the grinding compound, and then I'm going to add a little bit more water to this mixture, thin it out even more, and I'm going to go back for another pass. And just do this until you feel they're seated. I will show you how to test this after you finish lapping your valves to make sure that there's no leaks. So now that you get to the point where you have this lapped where you like it, you're going to put the valve in. So the order it goes, you're going to want the spring first. The tighter coils go facing down towards the valve, so you can put those on after you put your valve seal on, which is just a little rubber piece that clips in place in there. Then you're going to have this little cap goes on the top, and that is the order that it goes. Then let me get the valve tool set up, and I'll show you how to clamp that down. So after you get the tool all set up, this is what it's going to look like. This size, I believe, let me take a check. That is a 23 millimeter out of the kit that fit over the end of the valve perfectly without slipping off or bending it. You can put this directly onto the center of the valve. I don't really like that because it's hitting hard on one surface. It might damage the face of the valve. So I take the biggest size out of the kit, which goes around the whole edge, and that should not damage anything. So you're just going to slowly tighten that down. I will get it to the point and then show you what you're going to be looking at, and I'll show you how to install your keepers. Okay, I have it to the point, have it held up. This is not a very difficult tool to use, even if it looks like it on camera. It's kind of hard to film and do this at the same time. But you're going to go down until you can see the top of the stem is exposed. That little groove is going to line up with the groove on your keepers. Make sure you keep these in the same order as when they come off your head when you uninstall them. I believe they are actually different sizes. I know on the TRX they are. But you're going to install those. You can drop them in there with a pair of needle nose pliers. You can try to use a pick. You can try to use a magnet. But they can be tricky. Just mess around with them until they're both opposite sides and those grooves line up with the grooves in the valve stem. Okay, I dropped one in. That's how you're going to want it to seat on there. Now we should be able to just drop in the other side and then slowly release the pressure on this valve tool. So I have it seated in there properly. If you want to test that and make sure, like really make sure that those are seated, you can put a small socket and hit it with a rubber mallet and just make sure they click into place. Not too hard or it'll just pop right back out. But this is what the front of it should look like after you have your valve installed. I will show you next how to test leaks. I'm not going to install all of them for the video, but that gives you a really good idea at how to do it, and that helps most people out because I had no clue how to do this before I really did my research and started messing around with it. So the best way to test this valve for leaks that I have found, I'm actually going to put a little bit of solvent in here, probably some ether or gas. I'm just going to be using some normal pump gas, and you're going to pour it straight in there. Might get a little bit messy, but after it's filled up, you're going to turn it upside down like so, and you're just going to check for leaks on this valve. And if nothing leaks through after about 5 minutes, I'd say you're good. This one did not leak at all, and I only did 2 passes, so that gives you a really good idea of how easy it is to seat it with that grinding compound. If it does have a leak, unfortunately, you're going to have to pop this back out. You can use the valve compression tool to take that out, or if you're watching this, you've already taken this out, so you can hit it with a mallet also. But if you don't have any leaks, you're good. If you do, pop it out, relap it, and give it another go. So everything should be finished up for the video. We're not going to install the other 3 onto that head. because the head's going to get sent off report and polish. This video was literally just made to get one out there on how to do these LTR valves. I never have really seen a video on this, and you don't really know how to do it unless if you've had previous experience or you've really studied up on the manual. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, give a comment below. I'll try my best to answer them, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.